What's up, everyone? Welcome back. As you can probably hear, car is running already. Usually for my videos, the car is off, but good news today. We have a new tune for the vehicle that I just installed. I'm letting it warm up right now, and then we're gonna see exactly how it runs. This is the revision 1 of this tune, so we're gonna go out and do some data logging on the streets. But it's a good place to start. And fingers crossed that this works, because yeah, the car's definitely not been performing and we need to fix that ASAP. New tuner sent me this file last night, and today's the first time I get to try it out. So let's hit the road and let's get some data logging going. Alright guys, so we're in the car. We're ready to hit the road. I'm just giving it a couple more seconds for it to warm up just a little bit more. I generally don't like to run the car until it's like above 150, 160, just to get that oil flowing, get everything properly seated. We've got our original Trinity T1000 running up here, and we're going to be logging off of the computer since it's going to give us the best readings possible. These are all the PIDs. That's what they're called, the PIDs that most tuners usually request for. So they're going to be logging all of the important information on the car for this, what is basically just a base map right now, first revision of the tune. We'll get some information driving around, and no wide open throttle, no racing, none of that. Again, it's a base tune. We don't want to, freaking break anything or something like that. But yeah, we're going to at least get some base numbers and get some new revisions going and see where we can get the car at. I will be buying a wideband 02 in the coming days, so we can get some good AFR readings. So yeah, let's hit the road, get these numbers, and see how she does just driving around casually. We'll hit the city for a little bit, then we'll hit the highway. Nothing crazy again, just speed limits, casual accelerating and stopping, and get this over to the tuner. Let's hit the road. All right guys, so we're gonna hit the road here. Get some numbers nearby. They shouldn't take more than, I'm gonna say, close my garage. I'm gonna say maybe 10-15 minutes to do. I live really close to I-75, I-4, 301. I literally have 3-4 highways 5 minutes down the road, if that. So we'll do some casual city driving right here just to get out of my neighborhood, and then hop on the highway, get some highway stuff going, and get these numbers over. But first impressions, seems normal. As you guys may remember, the prior tune had 2 big issues and a third one that, we just weren't sure exactly what it could be, but the first 2 were just idling issues. It just wasn't happy when you tried to stop too quickly, and just randomly it would start acting up. The idle would be weird if you stopped too quickly, or it would just stop normally. And then also it just wasn't performing as a whole. But right now, just cruising. Yeah, it feels normal. I'm doing 25 miles an hour just to get out of the neighborhood. But once we get on the highway, we should be able to see a little more how the car is behaving with this new tune. I'm working right now with Ryan at Flying Ryan Performance in Texas. He's been a good help. Seems like a good guy. And just basing it off what I see on social media, what I see on his pages, it looks like a lot of people trust him. So I am, again, fingers crossed, hoping for the best, because I know this car has potential in it. I know with the power that it initially put down on the dyno, it should be, I mean, maybe wishful thinking, low 12s on a tire, maybe a high 11. Maybe better, who knows. But yeah, the car definitely has more in it. I just feel like the tune previously, again, along with those issues that I was having casually driving, just was not working very well with the cam. Speaking to Ryan, it seems like it's an issue with the way that the timing is handled, as far as the cam is concerned. I personally do not know sufficient enough about tuning to be able to tell you guys exactly what that means, or if what I just said is even right. But reading a couple of posts online, reading one of Ryan's posts, and actually having him tell me directly that, it seems like that's the issue. Just the way that the cam timing is done is not not ideal for tuning a fairly mild NSR MMX cam on a 5.7. Right now we're doing about 45-ish. I don't know why the radio is yelling at me if the speed limit's 45 and I was doing 45. But it feels good so far. Very smooth. I don't feel anything weird, which is always a good thing, especially for a base map, because you know you can come across things during a base map that might be nerve-wracking. But outside of starting it up and having it kind of jump in idle here and there, just in that initial warm-up, there was only like 2 times when I first started it up that happened. It feels really good. We're almost at the highway here, and then we'll be able to hop on an open road. Well, more open, because roads in Florida are generally very open, especially during this time of you know, the pandemic, all the quarantines going around. Which, granted, Florida has not really had any gigantic quarantine orders. Like I know Marion County, where Orlando actually is, does have a curfew from 11 p.m. to 5 in the morning. But where I am, which is just outside of Tampa Bay, Hillsborough County, we do not have that yet. But even then, it feels like a lot of people are heeding the warnings. Restaurants, for the most part, are still closed or not allowing people to eat in. And there's other places like parks and beaches that are closed. So traffic is responding, you know, to that. So right now, even though it's about 11:30 in the morning, traffic is extremely light. But we're about to hit the highway, and let's see how she does just casually cruising at highway speeds. Right now, everything looks okay as far as my mildly educated self is concerned. My coolant temps are normal. What else? Throttle position is reading good. Oil temperature is reading good. We don't have any knock of any kind. Which, granted, you don't really see a lot of short-term knock while you're just cruising. It's more of a wide open throttle thing. And I used to see it fairly frequently on the other tune. I used to get about as low as half a degree of short-term knock. Excuse me, all the way up to 3 degrees on the top end, which I'm sure was not helping my case. And this was with top-tier fuels. I usually just run Shell. That's my go-to gas because I've never had an issue with Shell, and Shell is a very reputable gas company. And I've even gone as far as to use a fuel additive to help, you know, with any instances where the octane of the fuel just isn't where it should be, or the quality isn't where it should be, because even gas stations like Shell might come across a batch that just isn't very good. And FYI, when I would use additives, octane boosters, I would not use the ones that had what's called, I think it's called MMP or MM something like that, but it's like a liquid metal-ish type of additive that helps boost the octane. Most of these cars don't like that. Top tier fuels actually are not allowed to have that additive in it, so I try to avoid it as well on octane boosters. Does it help? Don't know. I have never seen my spark plugs turn any orange yellowish type of color, which is fairly common for octane boosters that have that additional additive. But hey man, I'd rather be safe than sorry. Let me try to open the window a little bit. Actually, let me close it, probably hear me better. I'm just trying not to run the AC for no reason. It's about 81 degrees out here, but it's not humid, but it'll definitely get hot in here very quickly. Right now we're doing 65, and really it is surprising to me that a base map is running this great. Obviously I am not going to go wide open throttle. I'm not going to try to race or do anything dumb, because first of all, this was warned to me by the tuner, and second of all, duh, it's a base map, you don't want to screw anything up. But yeah, everything is looking good so far. Yeah, all the numbers look good on my end that I understand, at least. And so far so good. I'm really hopeful that this tune will definitely get the car where it should be. Ryan told me a couple of revisions should get me at least in a little better position than I was before on a full 11th revision of the last tune. So we'll see how that works. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm going to be buying an Innovate wideband O2. So I could get some good AFR readings for Ryan so he can dial in the tune 100%, because without that it's kind of like a stab in the dark. You're just kind of guessing off what the computer can read, and AFR is an important part of that, and unfortunately, at least for this car, you cannot get AFR from the factory. I know the Hellcats and above do come with an AFR gauge in the center stack here, the cluster, but this one does not have that. So we'll be buying that in the coming days, and I should be installing that in the next couple of weeks, hopefully. I just want to get all these revisions off street and track tuning done, so we can get something ironed out for the street and just for regular, casual things. And then I'll throw in the wideband once we've dialed that in as best we can, and then using the AFR we'll finish it off. I read with an AFR you can get that extra 15-20 horsepower that you might be losing on if you don't use an AFR while you're street tuning or remote tuning. And while an AFR isn't expensive, it's like 150 bucks. To me it's just good. Again, I'd rather have that extra 10, 15, 20 horsepower or more, and having an AFR will be useful regardless, so you can see how the car's reacting to everything. So we're still doing 65. Temperatures are still good. Again, it's hot down here as far as the temperature is concerned. It's about 80 to 82 according to my radio. The coolant temperatures are sitting at about 186, 188. I do have a lower temperature thermostat, so that's about where they sit on a warm day, sometimes 190 depending on just how hot it is and how humid. But I never see above 199, 200 at the very most while I'm racing, unless my oil gets oiled, in which point the oil is just not taking heat out of the engine fast enough anymore, which is when I know that it's time to change the oil. But yeah, everything's looking good. RPMs look good. There's no weird jumping around, no weird stutters, no weird issues that I can pick up on just off drivability alone. I am going to take the next exit and do a little more city driving and kind of get that a little bit locked in, since the city situation was a big issue. But yeah, I think this will be a good time to cut the video. I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on. U-tune, vlogging. We should have some revisions in the coming days. I really appreciate Ryan's help. He's really been a great help with this whole situation. He's been helping me a lot, and we'll see how it goes. Next video should be at the track. I am hoping to make it to the track maybe sometime at the end of this week or the weekend. But that'll be based heavily on where we sit as far as revisions on the tune is concerned. Obviously Ryan has a lot of things to do. I don't badger him about sending me a tune or anything, so it's up to him and how his schedule works. But fingers crossed, let's hope we can make it happen, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one.